Hello, my name is Alex, and in this presentation I will be discussing the nonverbal forms of communication, proxemics, and touch, something that has become more involved in everyone's lives in this past year, hence the title, The Idea of 6 Feet Before and After COVID-19. According to our textbook, Nonverbal Communication, written in part by Judy K. Burgoon, touch is the first of 5 senses to develop and is the most important sense for survival. Many people survive and even thrive without the ability to see, hear, taste, or smell. Without the ability to feel, however, one would constantly be susceptible to injury, temperature extremes, and other environmental threats that could easily prove fatal. That's why touch is extremely important for life and survival. Touch can be anything from a high five to a fist bump or a hug. According to Burgoon, touch comforts and stimulates us in ways that are essential for our health and development. Now we'll talk about proxemics, the realm just before touch. Proxemics can be explained as the space between a person and another. According to Psychology Today, proxemics is the amount of distance that people are comfortable with putting between themselves and another. While the distance can vary from person to person, on average, Americans prefer 18 inches of distance between themselves and someone else during a casual conversation. The improvements that I want to make in these forms of communication are understanding people's proxemic shifts and respecting their boundaries. And on top of that, I want to avoid making physical contact with someone unless I deem it appropriate. According to Burgoon, there are 4 nonverbal cues that serve as boundary markers that we call proxemic shifts. Proxemic shifts are used to communicate discomfort and also used to communicate a want to end a communication situation. These proxemic shifts can include wanting to lean away. That is one common proxemic shift. Another one would be to do an ulterior type of action like sparking a cigarette or jostling in a purse or looking for keys. The third common proxemic shift would be silence, when you say something to someone and they just are dead silent. And then the final one would be like a clearing of throat or some type of noise made like that to communicate a want to end a conversation, as seen by our Simpson character who wants to just kind of get out of there as soon as possible. My strategy for improving on these communication forms are to pay more attention to people's proxemic shifts. They give good insight on how conversations are going. Finally, I'll think more of the social penetration theory before actually touching someone. Social penetration theory, as explained by Amanda Carpenter and Catherine Green, describe the roles of self-disclosure in relationship development, focusing specifically on how self-disclosure functions in developing relationships. The onion model serves as a framework for developing the process of social penetration. In developing relationships, people use self-disclosure to increase intimacy. This visual gives an example of appropriate personal space and not appropriate personal space. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Zoom calls bring everyone's living room into the classroom or workplace. Try these social experiments at home. What is a nonverbal cue that you would use to tell someone that you're on a Zoom call? Do your nonverbal cues align with any of the proxemic shifts? If so, which ones are your go-tos for privacy? Thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.